And I want to speak to Stephen Barrett now, the barrister and writer. Stephen, you're very welcome to the programme. How are you?
Good evening. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Lots happening about Peter Mandelson. It's apparently his arrest was triggered by a baseless claim. That's what his lawyers say. He was planning to flee the UK. The ex-Labour peer was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office last night and was later bailed, as we know. But now there are allegations that Metropolitan Police arrested him because they'd been told he was preparing to flee the UK for the British Virgin Islands. He was originally about to be interviewed under caution in a fortnight's time, essentially an arrest by or at least an interview under caution anyway, by appointment that was due to happen, but they were not planning to arrest him at the time. But now we have the extraordinary arrest yesterday, and his lawyers saying that it was nonsense. The arrest was prompted by his law firm, by the law firm representing him, misconduct. Peter Mandelson was arrested yesterday despite an agreement with the police that he would attend an interview next month on a voluntary basis. The arrest was prompted by a baseless suggestion that he was planning to leave the country and take a permanent residence abroad. There's absolutely no truth, they say, whatsoever in any such suggestion. We've asked the Metropolitan Police for the evidence relied upon to justify the arrest. Peter Mandelson's overriding priority is to cooperate with the police investigation, as he has done throughout this process, and to clear his name. The Metropolitan Police have not commented so far. An extraordinary move and change in all of this. What do you think, Stephen?
Well, so the first thing to get across is that Peter Mandelson clearly doesn't understand the phrase "a dignified silence." I personally consider the man to be a walking moral sewer, so I'm not terribly interested in his hysterical reaction to anything. Misconduct are a leading law firm in the City of London, and we have some of the best litigators in the world. And there are many other law firms that are available. We really do top the biscuit. So they are just doing their absolute best to protect him. They also will integrate with PR agencies and other bodies. Law firms and litigation now is full service. It's not just court. So they are doing their damnedest for him. But I think it shows the character of the man to my mind. He is, just so your listeners and viewers know, for the legal test, he's obviously a flight risk. He's got properties all over the world, many of which places would be difficult for us to get him out of. So, and he's got lots of money, and he's probably got lots of money in lots of places around the world. I mean, he may not do, but it would be logical and rational for the police to assume that he might have. And he's also got some powerful friends across the world who may well protect him and offer him all sorts of things. So the idea that the police did something wrong is complete hash. But I think you see in this. And by the way, the Metropolitan Police shouldn't comment. They should stay silent. But you see in this the uphill battle that they're going to face in this proceeding. And I have a lot of sympathy with the officers. And as far as I'm concerned, the officers are behaving with incredible skill, deftness, and entirely appropriately. Prince Andrew was not afforded the protection, the soft glove treatment that Peter Mandelson got. And Peter Mandelson's already whining about soft glove treatment. I'm afraid if you're facing a criminal investigation for a crime that carries a life sentence, then your life is not going to be one of constant parties, hugs and giggles. But
surely, Stephen, if there was an arrangement that he would be interviewed under caution and that was arranged and that appointment was there, is it not reasonable for his legal team to say, hold on a second, why are you arresting him based on a report to the Lord Speaker?
Well, the thing he's accused of is breaking his word. So I don't think that we should castigate the police for not wholly taking him at his word. I mean, that just seems rational to me. And again, I cast no aspersions on his word. It's just that if I were the police dealing with this, I would not take him at his word. Because, again, if you take him at his word, you just go, oh, well, he's innocent then and nothing to see here. This is not the point of a police investigation, to kowtow to his wishes. I suspect this man has had a rather gilded life for a very long time and is now crashing into reality, and he simply can't deal with it.
How does it work procedurally, Stephen, if we're in a situation... I don't disagree with anything you say, by the way. How does it work procedurally if we find out, if the Metropolitan Police supply the evidence they were given and they said actually it was just the basis of someone doing a bit of, stirring the pot essentially and saying that, oh, well, he might flee to the Virgin Islands. The Lord Speaker's office may have told the police that and the police then acted. Is there any way he could sue for wrongful arrest, for example?
No, I really don't think so. And I don't think the police should get into a tit for tat at all. I think they should maintain that dignified silence that he seems incapable.
Do they not have to disclose their evidence when it comes to what their reasons were for arresting him?
Well, on his own account, it would be that the Lord Speaker told them that a member of the House of Lords thought that he was a flight risk.
Well, I don't know if it's a member of the House of Lords. We know that the Lord Speaker was told, we don't know by whom.
But I mean, nobody else. I don't chat to him. I would assume the Lord Speaker would be chatting to members of the House of Lords.
Well, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does, Stephen. But just in point of fact, we don't know who told the Lord Speaker. And I just want to be very clear on that point. I want to be accurate in all of this. We don't know who told the Lord Speaker. Could be a member of the House of Lords. Could not be a member of the House of Lords. We don't know.
No, but there are very many good lawyers in the House of Lords.
Yeah.
And if I was in the House of Lords, I would have said to the Lord Speaker, I think Peter Mandelson is a flight risk, because I think he's a flight risk. And I think that's an objective test based upon the fact that he has houses, access to money, and powerful friends across the globe. And there are many places where I'm afraid British justice cannot get you. So I really do not see this as in any way odd. If anything, it took them a while to do it. I mean, and they must have presumably been scared of this reaction. And I think what we should all do is, if the police maintain a dignified silence, as I hope they will, we should all presume that they are working properly and decently. If he can construct any sort of claim to sue them, misconduct will, so we'll just have to bear with that if that happens. Mm-hmm. But I would be very surprised if even miscons manage to construct a claim out of this. It looks to me to be watertight.
Let's have a look at what's been happening in the House of Commons today. Chris Bryant, the business minister, talking about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and a motion from the Liberal Democrats. We'll hear from their leader, Sir Ed Davey, in just a second. But firstly, the business minister, Sir Chris Bryant.
Colleagues, many civil servants have told me their own stories of their interactions with Mr. Mountbatten-Windsor, and they all betray the same pattern. A man on a constant self-aggrandising and self-enriching hustle. A rude, arrogant and entitled man who could not distinguish between the public interest, which he said he served, and his own private interest.
Sir Chris Bryant there speaking in the House of Commons. Let's hear what Sir Ed Davey, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, said on this.
In many ways, this is the first truly global scandal, from the White House in Silicon Valley to Oslo and Paris. But it's also a deeply British scandal, reaching right to the top of the British establishment. Because can there be many people more symbolic of the rot that eats away at the British establishment than the former Duke of York and Special Trade Envoy, and the former Business Secretary, First Secretary of State, and Ambassador to the United States? Their association with Epstein and their actions on his behalf, while trusted with the privilege of public office, are a stain on our country. Today, we must begin to clean away that stain with the disinfectant of transparency. Because whether it is the President of the United States and his Commerce Secretary, or Peter Mandelson and Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, or Epstein himself, their victims and survivors have seen those responsible evade accountability and escape justice for far too long. I desperately hope that is ending now, and I hope the House will approve this motion.
And they did. That has gone through, and more details and more documents will be revealed. What do you make of this, Stephen, especially the convention in the House of Commons anyway, so that members of the royal family and their conduct are not actually discussed, certainly not criticised anyway, and now we have a ruling that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor can be discussed in this and criticised to a huge degree, including by those two men?
I honestly see that as part of the evolution of the Constitution. I have a lot of respect. I have huge and crippling levels of respect for the late Queen, and I would watch the Queen's speech, and I would stand in my own living room throughout the entirety of the Queen's speech. She, to my mind, won that respect from me. She absolutely demonstrated the right to that level of respect. Do you
still have that level of respect, Stephen,
no.
given what we now know about what she must have known about Andrew?
I don't think it's necessary. Oh, well, for her, yes, because I just nothing's going to shake that, I'm afraid.
Okay.
But that's a very personal matter. But I don't have the same respect for Charles, regardless of this. So I don't think I watched the King's speech this year, and if I did, I certainly wouldn't have bothered standing. You know, as far as I'm concerned, we as a society are much healthier when respect is earned. You know, unearned respect is probably what got us into this mess. You know, Prince Andrew has probably had an awful lot of unearned respect for a very long time. I'm very willing to believe that he's not a terribly nice man. I also happen to think that Chris Bryant demands respect that he hasn't earned. And I think Ed Davey demands respect that he hasn't earned. And I do flag up the post office scandal with him. I think we have if we have a major problem.
What is Sir Chris Bryant not command your respect?
Well, the man was photographed in his underpants, and I think that's just ridiculous.
Does that mean you shouldn't respect someone?
Well, so I am same-sex attracted, and I don't find myself on these hookup sites, and you won't find pictures of me there. And actually, maybe you can call me a prude, but maybe I just don't respect people who end up on that type of a website.
I mean, over 60% of people find love online. It may not be in that particular way, but should we be sniffy about it?
No, I don't think we should be sniffy about love online. And I think, you know,
just people in their underpants.
I think we should. I mean, I never imagined I'd end up discussing this, but I think there is a line.
Here we are, Stephen. Here we are.
There is a line, I think, between hookup sites and legitimate online interaction and online dating. So I'm not damning all online use. But personally, and he doesn't. I mean, he tends to cry the rule of law at the drop of a hat, and he tends to not be able to see or criticise Labour people. So I don't have personal respect for him. But I think we need to, as a society, get back to the idea that respect is not demanded. Never demand it. If anybody demands respect, they go down in my eyes. Respect is earned, but it is capable. It's possible for people to earn respect from across the political field. There are people I respect deeply in the Labour Party. Graham Stringer is a fellow MP of Chris Bryant in the Labour Party. Absolutely deeply honourable man. I got to shake his hand. I was actually quite touched. And there are people across the political spectrum who I deeply respect because they have earned it. And I think we're a better society when people earn respect, when they are worthy of it. I think it makes it better for all of us. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, I think, is being used as a bit of a smokescreen, a bit of a distraction from the fact that maybe a few of them are a bit sniffy, you know, and maybe we should just go back to a society where, regardless of political party or belief, everybody, every MP certainly, and every member of the House of Lords earns respect. I think that would be better if we did that.
Yeah, it's interesting, actually. We've just been hearing that Yvette Cooper's done an interview with Sky News where she calls Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor vile, and what was in those emails vile as well. We'll hear a